More than a month after Pyongyang launched its highest long-range ballistic missile test, U.S. officials are now bracing for another in just a matter of days. Kim Jong-un used his New Year's Day address to ask Seoul to return to talks ahead of the Winter Olympics. Seoul suggested they take place next week. And while U.S. President Donald Trump signaled in a tweet those talks could be good news, the U.S. ambassador to the UN was much less optimistic.
North Korea can talk with anyone they want, but the U.S. is not going to recognize it or acknowledge it until they agree to ban the nuclear weapons that they have.
The White House says it plans to continue putting maximum pressure on Pyongyang. The Korean Peninsula is not the only concern for the U.S. president. Trump isn't letting up either on his support for the demonstrations in Iran, tweeting, "The people of Iran are finally acting against the brutal and corrupt Iranian regime." Despite accusations from Iran's supreme leader that outside influences are stoking the protests, the White House appears unconcerned.
President Trump's not going to sit by silently like President Obama did, and he certainly supports the Iranian people and wants to make that clear.
Trump is weighing in on the Iran protests just ahead of a mid-January deadline to recertify the Iran nuclear deal and waive sanctions. His failure to do so back in October caused anger and disappointment among Iranians.
We certainly keep our options open in terms of sanctions, in terms of signing a waiver later in January. The president hasn't made a final decision on that.
Meantime, the White House is doubling down on accusations first made by presidential tweet that Pakistan is harboring terrorists. Islamabad has called that tweet completely incomprehensible.
We know that Pakistan can do more to fight terrorism, and we want them to step up and do that.
The U.S. is extending its hold on more than $250 million in promised assistance to Pakistan as a result. Jessica Stone, CGTN, Washington.